Hi and welcome to another video from AI Sciences. In this video, we are going to see that how we can build a exercise rep counter using OpenCV. I'm your instructor Muhammad Ahmed from AI Sciences, and in this video, we are going to see that how we can use OpenCV and MediaPipe to detect the landmarks on the human body and detect the posture, and then we will try to calculate the reps of the person who is doing the exercise, and we will be discussing the complete flow, and eventually we will be doing hands-on on that. If you are new to our channel, then just a brief introduction of the AI Sciences. That at the platform of AI Sciences, we are providing a lot of services regarding artificial intelligence and data science, including courses, including consultancies and on-demand software development, product development and whatnot. If you are interested in any of this, then do visit links present in the description. So let's just begin. So here I have already created a project in the PyCharm, and the reason why I'm using PyCharm is just because when you are working with Python, it's really nice to work with PyCharm because of all the IntelliSense and all the error detection and the autocomplete. So it's quite nice to work with the PyCharm, but if you have any other preference, you are good to go with that. So here in the project, I have this main.py file and I have this video. Let me just show you this. So I downloaded this video from Pixabay, and as you can see in this video, a person is doing the exercise. Now what we will do, we will try to create the logic that will detect all these posture, all these landmarks on the human body, and then based on that landmarks, we will decide that how many reps he is doing. So it's quite useful that if you want to maintain that if the person is doing the correct exercise or not, you can do all the tweakings and all the checks of the landmarks, all the positions of the points, and then you can decide that whether a person have successfully completed the rep or not. Right now in this module, I'm using the video for this particular recording, but if you want, by using the minor tweakings, you can use the webcam and you can actually test it on your own self. So it's quite interesting. So here, if we go for the MediaPipe solutions pose, you just need to search for the MediaPipe solutions and pose, and it will take you to this page. Over here, this is the MediaPipe library. This is built and supported by Google, so we don't need to worry about any of the issues or anything related to any bizarre thing happening in the library. So it's quite stable. So here, what this library will do, this library will take in input a image or a video, and then it will decide what are the landmarks, and then it will assign the landmarks on the body. So here you can see that the 12 is assigned to this shoulder, 11th is assigned to this shoulder. For the waist, we are using 24 to 23. Then for the wrist, we are using this one, and for the lips, we are using 10 and 9. For the nose, it's 0 and all that stuff. Now what we will do, we will try to, if I may just play this video again. So here you can see that this person is doing the exercise, and what we will do, we will try to check that these 2 points and these 2 points. So the thing is that if both of these points are actually aligned, and let's say if the point number 14 is above point number 12, and over here if the point number 13 is above point number 11, so that means that the person have successfully completed 1 rep, and we will consider it as 1 rep and increase its count. Otherwise we won't count it. So this is the basic idea. So for calculating, for getting the landmarks, again we will be using MediaPipe library. So I guess this is quite enough for the theoretical section. Let's just do the hands-on now. So the first thing is we have to import the CV2, and we have to import the MediaPipe as MP. So for you must be getting this thing underlined red because there is a strong chance that you have not been downloaded the libraries. So to get the libraries, you just need to click on it, go for Alt and Enter, and it will, instead of providing you optimize imports, it will provide you with the option import library. You just need to click on it and you are good to go. So this is now a bit better. Now, as I mentioned that you just need to click on it, go for Alt Enter, and it will provide you with the option for importing the library. You just need to click on it and you will be good to go. Next is we have to build an object. We have to build an object that will take the image, that will take the video, and it will detect the landmarks. It will detect the pose on that image and it will assign the points, landmarks on that. And we want to just draw a bit on it because otherwise everything will work fine, but just to perceive it in a better way and to look at it, that how computer is visualizing it, we will try to draw the landmarks on the body as well. So for that we will be using mpdraw, a variable, and we will go for mp.solutions.drawingutils. Then we will go for mppose and we will go for mp.solutions.pose. And if anything is not making sense to you right now, then don't worry. When eventually we will start using all these objects, then everything will make sense to you and I will repeat everything again. So don't worry, just go with the flow right now. Next we are creating a pose object and we will be using this mp pose that we created in the above step, and we are asking for the object of pose. Now this was the basic stuff that we have to do, or you can say that this is the prerequisite that we have to do for making this complete project work. Again, if you are not getting this, then don't worry, we will get back to it soon. Next thing is we have to declare the capture and we have to go for cv2.video capture, and inside that we have to provide the name of the video. So here if we go for this one, let me just copy this from here and paste it over here. Now what this will do, this will just simply capture the video and it will provide us inside this cap. Then we will iterate on this cap. We will start reading data from this capture, and as you know that the video actually consists of images. So out of each video frame we will be getting the image and we will be applying all the logic on that image, but that all thing will be happening so rapidly that we will get the idea of that we are working on the video. So we will go for while true. The reason why we are using while true, because it's a video and we want to capture each frame continuously. So we will go for cap.read, and what it will do, it will return us with the success, whether the image read was a success or not, and the actual image. Now what this cap will do, it will refer to this video and it will provide us with the image frame by frame, and the image will be going inside this img variable, and whether we succeeded in reading the image or not will get inside the success variable, and we are pretty much sure we are getting the image. So let's just make it read, and then if we go for cv2.imshow, and inside that let's just make it as image and provide the image. And for the cv2 wait key, let's just put 1. Let me run this and then I will explain you that what both of these statements are doing. Okay, so I guess we have to change the resolution for that image. So let's just make it, after reading the image, we will go for img equals to cv2.resize, and in the resize we will provide the image and the dimension. So let's just make it 1280 and 720. It totally depends on your laptop screen. So if you have a wide screen, you can go with the original size, but if you have the smaller one like me, you can shrink down your video. Yeah, so we are getting this video, And the reason why this is being lagged is because we added the cv2.wait key. If we just increase it, the lag will increase. So it's just like that. This thing is, after getting the image, it is just converting it or resizing it, and then it is showing that image, and then it is waiting for the 5 key presses, and then it is proceeding further. So where is it? Yeah, this one. So the image, the video got more delayed, and if we again make it 1, you will notice that it will run 5. Yeah. So next thing is that after getting all this image information, we have to convert this image to RGB. So by default, the image is in BGR or the video is in BGR. So don't confuse when I'm referring to video or the image, because both of them are actually the same thing. Images comprises together to create the videos, and if you break down the videos, it will become images. So if I may use them interchangeably, then don't confuse them. So the thing is that we have to convert it into from BGR channel to RGB channel for MediaPipe library to work on it properly. So for converting, we will go for cv2.cvt color. Inside that, we will provide the image, and we will ask it to cv2.color_bgr to RGB. So we are converting it from BGR channel to RGB channel. Next, let's just save it inside the image RGB variable. And we will be using this variable when we want to refer to the pose. So if at this point you try to visualize this, you will not notice any difference, because the difference is in the channels only. So you cannot see this from the naked eye. So we are getting the image in RGB channel, and next thing is, if we go for the pose that we created on the top, that contains the pose object that will help us in detecting the pose inside the image. So we will go for pose.process, and inside that we have to provide the image RGB. Now what this will do, this will actually provide us with the capture of the image, just like that. This image, let's say from the video, this thing will resize it. This thing will convert that image from BGR channel to RGB channel. Then we are using this image to detect the pose. And after detecting the pose, if we just go for printing the, okay, let me just save it in the variable. And now if we go for results dot pose_landmarks. So if we run that again, hopefully we will be getting the landmarks of the picture of the videos. So yeah, so here you can see that we are getting the particular location, and then inside the location we are getting the X coordinate, the Y coordinate, and the Z coordinate of the image. Now what we have to do is, now what we have to do, if we just go for writing the statement of some dashes, I just want to show you something. That for each particular image, it is extracting all these landmarks, and then it is portraying all these landmarks over here. So yeah, so here you can see that starting from this is the landmark 0, this nose, the coordinates X, Y, and Z for the nose, and this is for the first, which is where is the one? Yeah, this one, then second, then third, and all the way to this point. So in the last, we are getting the last point, which is this one, and we are getting the last point. So that means that this particular thing, this particular code is extracting the landmarks, and then we can just simply print the landmarks starting from 0th up all the way to the last landmark. Next is, after getting the landmarks, we have to check that whether we are getting the landmarks or not. So right now you can see that we are working on the video. So there is not a possibility that we are not getting the posture, or we are not getting the person. But if you try to work on it on the live camera, then there is a chance that there is no one standing in front of the camera. And in that case, if you try to extract some landmarks and try to create a list of landmarks, it will throw the exception. So that's why we have to check that if we are getting the landmarks or not. And again, in our current context, this thing will not make any sense because the person is always there in the image. So it will not make much sense. But if we try to refer the actual video cam, actual webcam, so over there, again, there's a possibility that the person is not standing. So we are checking that if the person is standing inside the image, or if we are getting any pose, or if we are getting any landmarks. Then what we have to do, we have to go for MP draw, the object that we created for drawing the utilities, for drawing the landmarks on the body. So we will use MP draw for drawing the landmarks, and I want to draw the landmarks on the image, and I want to draw the landmarks for the results.pose landmarks, these landmarks. Then we will go for MP pose.pose connection. So the reason why we are going for pose connections, because I just don't want to get the points, I want to get the points connected as well. So let me just run that now. Yeah, now we are getting the points and we are getting them connected. And the reason why actually it's quite slow on my machine, because I have the recorder running and all that stuff, and that's why it's consuming a lot of CPU as a whole, and that's why the image is being processed slow. But when you will run it on your local machine without the recorder on, hopefully it will work smooth for you. So if we are in this if, then that means that we have some human inside the frame, and we are getting its landmarks, and we are just drawing it. Next thing is, we have to iterate on all the landmarks, and we have to print that what landmark or what point we are referring to. So here, if we want to refer to 0th, we want to get it. We want to get the ID, and we want to get the coordinates. So we will go for ID and landmarks. In enumerate, we are enumerating on this list, and for that we will go for calling the landmarks. Now what this statement will do, let me just write it first and then I will explain it to you. ID and LM, if we run it, and yeah, so here let me just take you to top. Here we are getting the 0th, which is this 0, and we are getting the landmark. So we are, for the landmarks, we are getting the X coordinate, Y coordinate, and Z coordinate. Same for the 1, same for the 2, same for the 3, and all the way to the 32. So the last point we are getting is this one. And then again, for the next iteration, it is again providing us all the points from 0th all the way to 32. And then again, it is taking from 0 and all the way to the 32. Now what we have to do, the first thing we have to do is to convert these landmarks to the pixels, because right now these are the coordinates and we cannot actually do anything with these, because this particular image or this particular video is based on the pixel. So we have to convert the ratio, we have to convert the coordinates to the pixels. So for that, the formula is quite simple. Let me just pause it from here, and if we go for int, we go for the landmark, this landmark, and for the X coordinate, we have to multiply it with the width of the image. And let's just get the image width and height. So we will go for height, width and channel, and we will go for image.shape. Now what this will do, this will provide us with the height, width and channel color scheme of the image, this image. Then what we are doing, we are referring to this X and we are multiplying it with the width so that it will convert these coordinates to the pixels. Next, we want to convert the Y as well. So we will go for lm.y and multiply it with h. That's quite simple. And now we will get the Cx and we are getting the Cy. Now, if we just go for let me just put it over here, Cx and Cy. So if we run that now, hopefully we will be getting these coordinates and then we will be getting their pixel ratio, that how many pixel we have to move the X coordinate and how many pixel we have to move the Y coordinate to get to that relevant point. So if we go for the top, so this is the X point, this is the Y point, this is the Z point, and this is 598 pixels from the X and 198 pixels from the Y, and this is where actual our nose is, this point. So it is around 598 pixels from here and 198 pixels from here, so that's where our nose is. Next thing is, after detecting all these points, we have to save this inside our dictionary. Now the reason why we are saving it inside the dictionary, because this for loop over here will provide us with all the points and it will provide us with all the coordinates of that points as well, but we have to save them so that after getting out from this for loop we can use them. So it's quite simple. For saving them, we have to create our dictionary. Let's just make it points, and over here we have to save that by points, and we will refer the ID as a key, and we will assign it with the Cx, the X, the pixels along the X-axis and the pixels along the Y-axis against their ID. Now after getting out, right now I have no print statements over here. And after getting out this for loop, if I go for displaying that, let's say I want to get the coordinates of my relevant point. So I'm interested in 12 and 14. So let's just go for points and get the 12, get the 14, 12 and 14 and 11 and 13. 11 and 13. And then let's just put the dashes. Now if we run that, so here you can see that now if I just scroll it up and here I'm getting the coordinates for the point 12, I'm getting the coordinates for point 14, I'm getting the coordinates for point 11, and I'm getting the coordinates for point 13. Here, all these coordinates. Now just to make sure that we are getting the proper coordinates, what we will do, we will try to draw a circle on all these points. So we will refer to it as, and by the way, you can do multi-selections in PyCharm by pressing Alt and just clicking. So we will go for writing cv2.circle, and for the circle we want to consider the image. We want to draw the circle on the images because we are printing the landmarks on the image as well. So we will try to repoint the X and Y coordinates on which we want to draw the image, these points. And then for the width we will be using the 15th, and for the color let's just go for the color blue, 2550 and 0. You can go for any color, and then it will be cv2.filled. Yeah. Now if we run that again, hopefully, yeah, we are getting the particular area, particular points that we want to refer to as blue. Next thing is we have to write the logic for calculating that whether a one rep is completed or not. So for simplifying, we will only consider one arm, and you can, if you want to extend it, you can go for the other arm as well. The logic will exactly be the same. So what we will do, we will check that if the points of this point, this particular point, if this point 14th of 1, the 1 will provide the y coordinate, this coordinate for this point, and this is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate, and if we go for 1, we will get this y coordinate. Now we will check that if this is less than points of 12, this point, and mark it 1. So if this point is actually over here, if this point is above this one, then the value will be less than this y point. So right now, let's say if the y point is over here and it's around 10, so that this point will be around 8. And as soon as this point will start going down, the y value will increase from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so on and so forth. And as soon as it will go up, the values will start decreasing for this point. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and so on and so forth. Now what we are doing, we are just checking that if the point 14, which is this one, is less than this point, which is this one. So that means that if this point is above this point, this one. So if this is the case, we want to just print on screen that we are up, and else we want to print we are down. Now let's just run that. Or we are not printing anything. Yeah, perfect. Now let's just give it a go. So just notice that as soon as this point is above this one, we are getting ups, and as soon as this point is below this, we are getting down. So it's working perfectly fine. Now we have to devise a logic that will maintain the count. So what we have to do, we have to declare a variable on top. Let's just declare a variable up and make it false. And let's just declare a variable counter and make it 0. Now what this statement will do, this variable will check that if we have already in the up state or not. Because otherwise, if we are not checking it, then every time it will come inside this, it will go for the up, and it will increase the count. So let me just show you. If I may enter the dashes over here just to separate the things, and I give it a go. So you can see that it's continuously inside the down, and as soon as we got up, it is continuously going inside the up ones. So we have to devise a way that if the person's hand is already in the up state, so that means that if the person have already completed its one rep, then we want to stop the counting unless the person have moved his arms down. So what we will do, we will just use this variable up, and we will check it inside this, that if right now we are not up and the particular point is above the shoulder, the point is above the shoulder, then we want to print the up, and we want to make the up to true, because the up is now true, the point is above the shoulder, so we are marking the up true. Then for the else, we will reshape it to elif, and here we will check that if points of 14 and 1, the same point, and we will check that if it is greater than points of 12 and 1. And the thing is that actually this particular equation it totally depends on you. You can come up with any other solution, and I'm not saying that this is 100% efficient or this is the best possible way. I tried to keep it simple, And if you want to improvise it, you can improvise it, and even I can improvise it. I can make it a complex one or a concise one, but still, to make the thing elaborated, I am writing this in this fashion. So here we are checking that if we have, let me just squeeze this out, and let me just go for up equals to false. Now what this statement will do, this statement will check that if the hands are not already in the up state, if the arms are not already in the up state, and the particular point is above the shoulder, then we have to just mark the up to true because we are already in the up. And again, then when it will go for up state all the way to the here, and it will go down, and here it will not come inside this loop because here we have already marked it as true. It will come over here and this will make it as false, and it will just simply skip it. It will come for the else, and here the condition is that if we have moved down, then we want to make the up false. Otherwise, if the hands are up, then it's perfectly fine. So let me just give it a dry run again. So right now for the first time, the up is false. It will come up over here and it will check that if not up, this is a true condition because not false is true. And it will check that if we have already, our hands are already, our arms are already in the appropriate state. So right now, let's say our hand, we have just started the video, and let me just make it 10. So that we can dry run it appropriately. So we are getting, it is not getting in the up, and as soon as it crosses that, it just simply went for the up, and it's not entering the up again. So here you can see that it entered the up, and then it marked the up as true. And when it comes for the next iteration over here, it is checking that if not up, this condition is now false because we have already marked up as true. And here not up is now false, and it will just simply ignore it and it will go for the else. In the else, we have make sure that if the particular point is below shoulder, then we want to go in the else. Otherwise, we just want to simply ignore it. So that's, it will work. And then as soon as the arm went down for that shoulder, it will mark it as down and it will mark the up as false, so that for the next iteration, we can again go up. Next thing, the only remaining chunk is we have to go for the counter and increase it by 1. Let me just comment this up, and okay, let's just keep it as it is. And then, yeah, let's just go for the counter over here. Yeah. Now if we run that again, so the count is 0, 0, 0, and as soon as this point goes up for this one, the count is now 1. Just notice that the count is not continuously increasing. Now for the next step, when the arm will again go up the shoulder, then it will make this count as 2. Yeah, perfect. Now, right now you can notice that this is actually marking it as true quite early. So to overcome that, we can add an additional of 30 points, and let me just show you something. If I make it 60, what will happen? And if we make it 1 again, now you will notice that it won't mark it as a single rep because the gap between these points are not 60 above. So see, we are still getting the 0. And if we lower it down to, let's say, 50, we are just actually increasing the gap manually. So hopefully now, as soon as we are at our top stretched one, it will mark it as, okay, it didn't. So we have to just narrow it down further maybe. Let's just make it 40. It's a total hit and try. We have to change it just to observe that to what extent we want the person to just stretch the arms to do the gym, and to what extent we want to ignore it. So here, as soon as the person went all the way to the up to its most extent, to this upper extent, we are getting the count. Below that, we are not getting any count. So here, as soon as it touches the top point, the count increases, and that's how it will work. So if I decrease it, if I go for 30, if I go for 10, it will decrease the threshold, and that's how you control the threshold. That if you want your body to go to the full extent, you increase this from 40, 41, 42, and if you want to decrease it, if you want to keep your body easy, you can decrease it from 40, 39, 35, 30, so and so forth. Now the last point is that we are getting the count on the screen. So let's just write the statement that will print the count on the screen instead of console. So we will go for writing it as, we will put it over here, and we will go for cv2.putText. For it, we want to put the text on the image. We want to put the counter as the text, and we want to put it on the coordinates of 100 and 150. I've already figured it out. If you want, you can change the coordinates. So this is 100 pixels from the X, and this is 150 pixels from the top. Then we have to provide it with the font. So we will go for cv2.font Hershey plain. You can go for any fonts, and then for the 12 and for the color we will be using 255, 0, the blue color, and then we are specifying the width. So we are specifying the size, and we are specifying the width. We have specified the color, the font, the position on which we want to display the text that we want to display, and the actual image. Now if we run that, hopefully this will work fine. So we are getting the 0, and as soon as our boy will go all the way till top, it got incremented 1, and it will go on and on for counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's how actually you build the AI trainer. You build the counter, exercise rep counter, using the OpenCV and MediaPipe library. So this is again pretty much it from this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and I would highly recommend you to just tweak the video. And here, instead of getting this video, try to capture the video, try to capture the webcam, and try to implement it, play with on your own, and try to tweak things up, try to play around with all this stuff, and try to get most out of it. And if you're stuck at any point, you are facing any trouble, any issues, then please feel free to let us know in the comment section, and we will try to get back to you on that as soon as possible. Also, please do hit the bell icon and do subscribe to our channel AI Sciences so you get the notifications of our new videos. This is pretty much it from this video. I will see you in the next one.